How y'all doing? It's old Judd here again. So today, I want to tell y'all a story about how old Saul got to be king of Israel. Now, here's what you got. It's in the book of Samuel. And you got old Samuel, and he's a prophet. He's a good one now. I mean, everybody thought a lot of him. He was kind of a big deal, let's just say that. Well, he was getting old, and he thought, you know what, I think I'm about ready to retire. And he had these two boys. And he said, you know, I've been judging Israel for a long time. I'm going to turn all this over to my two boys. Well, the people of Israel, they said, no, no, we ain't going to have that. We don't like them. They ain't like you. They don't do what you do. They mean. They lie. They cheat. They kick little baby ducks in the river just to watch them drown. We don't like them. We ain't gonna have them. He said, well, what do you mean do about it? And they said, well, everybody else got them one of them kings. We want one of them kings. That's what we want. Well, old God come to Samuel. God said, look, he said, just tell them, you know, if you don't want me to rule you and you think I ain't good enough, then go ahead and get you a king. That's fine. But I'm telling you right now, it ain't gonna be all it's cracked up to be now. He said, them kings, they'll rule over you now. They'll take you a tenth of everything you got and do whatever they want to with it. They'll take your prize bulls away from you. They'll take your boys, send them to the front line. They'll take your best land you got, give it to their servants. They'll take your daughters away. They'll make servants out of them. I said, it ain't going to be what you want having a king now. You ain't going to like it. They said, we don't care. We want us a king. He said, all right then. Then here come old Saul into play. Old Saul, he wasn't king yet. He's from the tribe of Benjamin. Well, his daddy's donkeys turned up missing one day. Well, his daddy said, get your servant, go find them there donkeys. He said, all right then. So they went looking for them donkeys. They couldn't find them darn donkeys nowhere. They was out. 3 days they looked for them donkeys. They finally come up on this town, and there's somebody told them. They said, hey, there's a seer in town, a prophet or whatever. And his servant said, you know what? Let's go talk to that there seer, and we'll ask him about them donkeys. I bet they'll know where them donkeys are. And old Saul said, that's a pretty good idea. Let's go do that. So he went and found them, and there was old Samuel there. He said, hey, there, feller. I said, we looking for some donkeys. And old Samuel said, yeah, don't worry about them donkeys. He said, that done been found. But old Saul, me and you need to have a little chit-chat. So that night they went to a big banquet, and they ate, and he put him a big old slab of a chicken leg in front of him or something like that. I don't know. Then they was ended up getting on top of a rooftop, and old Samuel was talking to Saul. He said, talking about him being an old king, you know, and old Saul said, look, he said, look, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin, and we're the smallest tribe of all the tribes, and I'm from the smallest clan from the tribe of Benjamin. He said, I can't do all. He said, oh, no. He said, God done chose you. He said, you big old burly fella, you tall, you fit the bill. We gonna have you be king. He said, all right then. Well, that next day, Samuel, he told Saul, he said, now look, when you're on your way home, he was prophesying to him, just let him know he was for real. He said, look, he said, when you're on your way home, he said, you're going to go to the Rachel's grave, and they're going to be a couple fellers there, and they're going to tell you don't worry about your donkeys. He said, then you're going to go to the oak of Tabor, and now if you get to a split row fence with the big red barn, and there's a dog laying underneath it, you've gone too far. You need to turn around and come back. And at that oak of Tabor, they're going to be some fellers there, and they're going to have some goats and some wine, some bread, and they're going to give you some bread. You just take it from them. Don't worry about it. Then you're going to go to Gibeah, and then you're going to go to Gilgal, well, every bit of it come true. He got home, he talked to his uncle, and his uncle said, so what old Samuel say to you? He said, he just told me about the donkeys, don't worry about it. He didn't tell him about being a king, because he wasn't real sure about it, apparently. Well, then old Samuel, he had everybody gather at the town of Mizpah or whatever. Well, that was where he was going to have Saul become king. Well, they said, old Samuel said, all right, next we have up old Saul. Saul wasn't nowhere to be found. He was over hiding in the closet, over or in the broom closet or somewhere. I don't know what equipment. I don't know. Well, they went over, found him, took him up there, made him the king, and that's all she wrote. That's it. Y'all have a good one now.